Hey, good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Brendan. How you doing?
I'm good. We are back for another Loam Lander podcast, and I know it's been a couple of weeks. We both have had a lot going on, and it's been really, really exciting Loam Lander stuff going on. I know you just got back from a trip. Tatum and I had a couple of days of kid-free adventures, and we've just got a lot of really cool stuff going on. First of all, how was your trip to California?
It was awesome. The director of Stoke drove both ways. Um,
Sweet.
Bobby drove both ways. We stayed in his 107-foot motorhome. No, I think it's only 28 feet. But we slept four of us. We pretty much had our own bedroom.
That's
Um,
awesome.
it was such a good time. The weather was actually really cold when we first got there,
Hmm.
but it got really warm for race days, and it was just a good time to get away. It was fun to catch up with people that I haven't seen for 20 years from when I worked at K2, and then it was also new friends and just a good time. Obviously, it was Bobby and Jake, and then myself and my son Keller. We just road trip down, drove back. It's like 18 hours each way.
That's amazing. I had a little bit of FOMO going on, and FOMO for us old people is the fear of missing out. And there were several times that Tatum was saying, "Or do you wish you went?" Like, of course, I wish I went, but I still had obligations that I had to take care of here. So,
I intentionally, maybe kind of rudely, sent you some random text of like, you should be here.
right. No, and I
Just
appreciate
kind
it.
of push
Like,
the buttons.
that's right. It was I was sad I missed out. But sometimes we get to stay home and crawl through crawl spaces and attics because that's what you need to do.
Yes.
Um, but you guys had an awesome time. In fact, we should and could do a full podcast on that event. And due to that, or because of that event, we have many, well, at least three upcoming podcasts that are going to have some special guests, and that you and I hopefully will be special guests on their podcast as well.
Yeah, it'll
So
be fun.
it will be a lot of fun. It's just exciting to get to know the industry better and get to know some of the industry players better. And I know that was a big part of the weekend for you guys.
Yeah, it was an entire week. I mean, I left my house on Monday and I didn't get home till Monday about midnight.
Oh, so
So
cool.
it was an entire week away. It was good. It was a good time. And it's
That's
just nice to ride different venues. And I'm not saying that downhill course was the best downhill course. And we'll save that actually for another podcast. The trail was actually really fun, but it wasn't
Mhm.
really a downhill course compared to what we're used to.
Right.
So I'll leave that for another conversation because that'd be a good time for director of Stoke.
Yes, absolutely. And the director of Stoke is alive and well. And although we haven't spent a whole lot of time in our introduction of Bobby, as his role in Loam Lander is growing, we have and will be doing that very, very soon.
Yes.
So you have probably already seen quite a few things that have come out of Loam Lander recently that don't have Brendan and Kevin's signature style on them, meaning they're way better than what we could ever imagine doing. And that's all directly related to our director Stoke, and it's really really cool to have an individual of that talent here with us to help progress our brand. And anyways, it's super fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about an event that we had. Seems like a month ago. It was a month ago.
Yeah.
And I'd say that it was the best way to end out the summer. I don't think we could have done it any better. And it ended up just being a super fun Saturday. And that was to have the Lone Lander end of summer event. I mean, I know we're really creative in our titling of that, but that's what it was.
It was a good time. Like we originally had it planned. Um, we were at the Northwest Cup at our last Northwest Cup, which we've talked about, but we timed it perfect to where we could, invite tons and tons of people there for the following weekend, end of race season, end of season. It dumped that
It
first
did.
Saturday. That
Yep.
it was Friday, Saturday, like it was so crazy wet and windy, and so we did have to move it, which is a bummer because some people didn't get to show up. It would have been kind of a fun surprise for the kids, but at the same time, others came because it got moved, which is also fantastic.
Right. It was kind of one of those catch-22s where you missed out on some and you're able to have others join us. And um, I- it honestly, I thought it was a huge success. We had a great number of local riders come out and play, and some pro riders, and it's just super fun. So let's kind of preface our Friday Saturday of the event. I know that you and Bobby were able to come down on Friday afternoon, evening to kind of help get things set up, but we also had two other very special people come and help us get this event started, and that was Dan and Chris Hopner. In the background picture that you have behind you, we can see a fantastic, really nice 7-foot kicker, and that is directly related to their handiwork and their skills and their talents that helped us to get that put together. Kevin, why don't you maybe share a little bit about like that process and really how quickly they could teach us how to do things that, I don't know, for me, I had a hard time thinking through.
Um, I definitely would have not accomplished that nice. They did it quickly. They live up by my house, so they fought the traffic through Seattle, through Tacoma, through McCord, and it was like a 3+ hour drive. It was painful. So they did that as well. And they came down just to help build the ramp on Friday night before our event.
Yeah, I know they both had stuff going on the next day. And first of all, to even, consider us and do that amount of time away from their families, we really appreciate it. That was really cool.
So they bombed down and helped build it. Wait a minute. They built it. I helped by holding the piece of wood. That's
Right.
all I did. I was the holder.
We assisted and put some screws in, and just we're really, it's an education. Like there was, it was really well put together. And I remember their first kicker, the one that they used on the Jimbo, and seeing them bring that down and set it up. And at the time I thought, man, that's kind of, I don't know, kind of put together weird. After going through the experiences of them teaching us how to build it, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And
it's not as hard as I thought it'd be.
No, and it's solid, like rock solid. We had to make a few minor changes on Saturday because we were seeing a little more flex just due to the number and varied weights of different riders we had going across it. But even that was so minor that it wasn't even, it wasn't related to the way they built things. Like it's just an added support.
And we just did 2 extra 2x4s right in the arc of right where the compression zone is on the ramp itself, right
where
you're compressing the bike.
Just seeing a little more flex, but anyways, that was super cool. And it is by far the favorite kicker of the ones we have here at Loam Lander. I didn't hear one complaint from any rider about it. In fact, I heard a lot of, wow, that's so smooth, that rides so well, that kick's just perfect, and it was awesome.
What are the measurements?
Yeah.
Can you send me the measurements? Can I take pictures of it? Like we saw videos of just the ramp, not people jumping. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of fun to see reaction of the ramp itself. So to Dan and Chris, huge shout out. Thank you guys.
Yeah, it was amazing. So Friday night after the kicker was done, we got some setup stuff taken care of, and then we had some just chill and just sit around time, which I always appreciate. I find that to be just amazing to be able to have that moment to just not do anything and just hang out and act like we're 16 again.
Which is rare nowadays, right? I mean, we're always going. It's nice to take a seat back and just chill.
Yeah, I would agree. It is nice to have a little fire pit and just hang out.
And Bobby and Jake were there as well. So with all of us, we were able to get everything set up the night before. So there was very little stuff to do that needed to happen Saturday morning. And it was just a good family MTB hangout kind of feeling. And
it was really nice. And you guys, you and Keller got to camp out in the Loambulance. That was kind of nice.
Yep. Still no heater, so it was a little cold. I'm installing the heater this weekend, hopefully.
Nice.
But it was a good time. The ambulance is awesome to camp in. It's a perfect rig to have. And again, my wife is the one that told me I should buy an ambulance.
That's good. And I bet she is glad that event happened. I mean, you guys are going to love that for years. Honestly, for a long time. That'll be a memory maker forever.
It will.
And
hopefully some serious road trips.
Yeah. Well, the plan that we have next year, um, it's going to be used. It's going to be used. That's for sure.
So it'll be on the road everywhere.
That's awesome. Hopefully someday we'll get the trailer done. I've been slowly picking at things, getting things put together, and
Sunday? Did you say Sunday?
Sunday that would be great. I would love to. It it's just a quick side note. So I have my ceiling in, and my father-in-law was here at the Loam Lander party, and he was checking out the trailer. He is an amazing woodworker, like just insanely amazing. And he's got this shop that's like would make any man that wants a shop like way too excited. But he was walking through it. He helped me with the van, and he helped me with the ceiling in the van. He's like, "Oh, so you didn't want to wait to see if I had any extra tongue and groove left over?" And it's like, "Well, I just want to get this going." Well, Tatum heard that. He still had extra tongue and groove, and so guess what we're going to be doing for the ceiling?
Pulling the ceiling down?
Pulling the ceiling down so that we can put tongue and groove in it, which will look amazing. But the stuff that's in there right now doesn't look that bad. It's just that the other will look a ton better. So
Yeah,
it's one step forward, two steps back, and you just kind of just take it as it goes.
fair.
Um, anyways, so let's talk about Saturday, the event day. We both got up early. We got things rolling. You're quickly becoming the source of extra sugar in the morning for my kids. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that.
No problem. Actually, I brought donuts too. I did.
You did, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So I had some donuts. And then Oliver, who loves a little hot chocolate, I had my little grill out, and so I heated up some hot chocolate for him
yeah.
right
It's
outside the
just
ambulance. I'm out there, little cooking in your front yard.
it was perfect. It's just what every ADHD kid needs in the morning is some extra sugar to get
Yeah.
them rolling. Yeah.
Well, I need my coffee, so it worked out perfect.
It was good. It was good times. So the event started, and it started a little slower. I was not nervous that people weren't going to come, but we had to change times, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know if that word got out to everyone. And we discovered that some of it had and some of it hadn't, and that turned out to be okay. But then we heard about traffic, and that made perfect sense.
Yeah. Saturday was another bad day. It's a bummer, but so everybody started showing up. I think was it 11 that we were starting?
That was where what we had set as a start time was 11.
And I think at 12:30, just hordes of people started coming up.
Yeah.
And
Then
in a
it
good way,
really
right?
started going, right?
To where we actually had parking crews.
It was awesome. It Yeah, and then the party really began. Not that it hadn't earlier, but that's kind of when it started. And it is another just amazing like feeling and vibe to the Loam Lander day. Um, I did feel like this was a little bit different in the vibe of it, and I think part of it was me internally. Like the first one was, is all of this going to work? Like I think it will, and I mean we have all these people that are going to be here trying these out, and we had such a successful day in that. We also had some like huge rushes of adrenaline when we had the 13-foot bag set up, and the first few times it got hit, that it did have kind of a little different vibe, but it wasn't bad. Like it was amazing. It was still really cool, but it's just a little different. I don't know. What were your thoughts?
I felt similar, but I think it's because we know what to expect. And so we were a little more relaxed,
That's true.
which everything went smoother because we were relaxed.
Yep, it did.
But otherwise, everything else was really smooth. Everything went good. Just a good turnout, a lot of fun people, which is really cool to see was all the new people that showed up compared to the first one.
Yeah.
A lot of those people were invited the first time around, but they couldn't make it. So this time they got to come check it out and see progression from different riders from the day. Like I don't know, it's so much fun. Like you'd see someone hit the 6.5 footer 10 times, and all of a sudden they're hitting the big sugar glider, which is the one behind me and Keller's flying on right now. And it was just not different crowd of some of the same riders, but it was just a different vibe. It was different, very more kid direction, I think this time more. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, we
Or
still had quite a
youth,
few
youth, not kid.
youth.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I mean, we still had quite a few adult riders for sure, but it was very youth. I mean, it was predominantly youth, which is kind of normal. We're a huge family basically, and when you have the family vibes that we have, you end up getting a lot of extra kids that will come through. And um, yeah, like I say, it's still really well attended and really, really awesome. It
Yeah.
was a little different. One thing that I did find that was kind of cool was at the first one, I really didn't hear many of the riders like say that they came for specific like desire to learn how to do X, Y, and Z or whatever. But with this one, like that was full on, like these guys came wanting to learn how to do something new. Especially those that had been at the first one, they kind of got used to what an airbag was and how you ride it and how you do what you do on them. And now they're coming to progress.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. Did
One
you get that
person that
sense?
stood out was Jaden.
Yeah, Jaden.
Jaden didn't come to the first one, but for those who don't know Jaden, he's a great kid. And I say kid, but he's like 6'4", maybe not that tall.
He's
Huge kid. He's only like 15.
right.
Um, he was determined on his trail bike to learn a 360. He came close a few times. He almost made a lot of crashes on the airbag, which is
Hmm.
awesome. So he had a safer place to practice it. But I could see that coming soon. Like there's
Oh yeah.
times I think he got tired at the end, and he still wanted to keep on going. He was just tired.
Right. Oh, he'd beat his body pretty hard. I mean, even landing on an airbag, like it's still in a more abrupt stop, right? And it's not the landing on dirt where you're really abrupt, but it has resistance and it's still kind of, you feel that resistance. So I'm sure that by the end he was just tired. But
Definitely.
he was determined, like determined. It was crazy. But then we had, riders like Sawyer that was, he wanted to do a backflip, right? And he didn't land it, didn't land it, didn't land it. And all of a sudden he did. And everyone was excited for him because they'd seen him come from the beginning of barely rotating the bike and just landing on his back to the next step of kind of hitting the back tire, then, washing out and then finally hitting it. And it was just, I mean, that's why they're built like they are. That's why they are what they are.
And you had Jake up on the hill who tried a couple. But the cool thing was Sawyer was up there trying to coach him on what he went through to land his first backflip. So
Right.
you saw those two just constantly talking, and he never really was like pushing Jake. He was just coaching Jake on this is what you need to do. This is what I did. It was just
Hmm.
kind of fun to watch that progression. And so Jake tried it a few times, and it was just, I don't know, the excitement and sharing with everybody.
Yeah. I mean, it perfectly illustrated what these are designed to be used for.
Definitely.
In the video, if you guys as our audience haven't watched our end of summer video that was put on by Andrew Moshman, go to our YouTube and watch it. You're going to hear our director of Stoke, Bobby, kind of give his view on why an airbag is for everyone. And one of the things that he said was that it's doesn't matter if you're a beginning rider or an experienced rider, everyone can find joy out of these. Whether that joy is just simply, I made it over the arc and I kept my tires on the lander and I rode it out, all the way to Kevin Jorgensen trying a 720 for the, many times. And eventually, while he didn't quite fully stick the landing, he was there. Like he
He's so
needed probably an
close.
hour more and he would have it.
And I'll say Jake one more time too. And this is him spinning 360s. I really think there was two times where I think he had it, but your spinning is not easy. I think if he
Yeah.
just hung on those handlebars, I think he actually would at least brought it all the way around. He was so close. I'm looking forward to seeing his first 360.
Right. Which is not far away. Like,
No, it's so close.
you talk about the progression of how fast all these kids could progress if they had one of these in their backyard. um like what, in a day they'd have a new trick dialed every single day.
Cruz is throwing tricks that I haven't
Yeah.
seen him do before, which is really cool. Keller's one behind me floating through the air. He actually jumped. He brought all three bikes, his dirt jumper, his transition patrol, and then his big DH bike. And he was hitting, it was kind of fun to see him go throughout the entire day on all the bags on different jump bikes. Like, wait,
That-
what bike is he on now? So
that's awesome. And you could see in his, just in his face and his, like, he was enjoying it, and really enjoying the opportunity to kind of push himself in different ways.
yeah,
I think I've said this more than once, but to see how often, especially kids, but even adults will hit these for the first time and try something new and then ride it out the first time. because they have that comfort of, oh, well, if something bad goes wrong, then we're at least safe. To me, it's like, it's surprising how that confidence alone makes it so we actually can do things that we didn't think we could do.
Definitely. I was going through my pictures and I was trying to find the one of Cruz. I could have sworn that he did a couple nothings. Am,
He
am
did.
I wrong on that?
Well, he did a couple TriStars, and maybe he did nothing. I'll have to ask him. I don't know.
But I just remember being like, whoa, where'd that come from? It was so much fun. Like that, those are the
Yeah.
moments that I like the most, is where I'm on the hill and I see something from a rider, kid or not, and it's just like, I've never seen you do that before. Like, I don't know, I'm a big kid at that, and I get excited. And
No, and we should. I mean, that's the joy that we get out of it. I mean, really is to see these things. I mean, how many times have we been sitting around or standing around or just talking with someone, all of a sudden you stop talking because you just saw something that like wowed you.
you're like,
Yeah.
oh.
It's like, sorry, my ADD is kicked in. And that was really cool. Did you see that?
Yeah,
Is just really, really fun. And also to see even the youngest of kids with smiles on their faces as they were hitting the 4-footer for the first time. There was a certain point in the day that I was noticing that the little kids, uh, what, 5 and under, 6 and under, you could just tell they wanted to hit that little bag, but we had a larger gap set up just so that you know that those that wanted to hit it better could actually get an arc. And I was like, okay, you know what, no one is really paying attention to the 4-foot bag right now. Let's set this up for these little kids. And so we brought the kicker in, and they just you know started making that circle. They kept on over and over and over and over and over, and it was just fun to see, just to see the kind of their excitement on it.
yeah. And then from the little kids to the old kid, Brian Donor doing 20-25 foot gap from the 6.5 ramp, so it'll be the 6 foot tall ramp
Hmm.
over across and landing on the other airbag. Which, please watch the video. The link will be below if you're on YouTube. And it's crazy.
It was, and like, I don't know. I was sitting there talking to one of the moms of a family who was there, and we both like just stopped because we saw him flying down the driveway, going way too fast for that 6 foot or 6.5 foot bag. And then all of a sudden he's crossing over. And my first thought was, oh no, this is going to be a problem. We're going to have an issue. And my second thought was, he's not going for the right bag. And the third was like, holy cow, that's amazing. That's so cool to see. And just
How
nice
about one
motor.
step before that? What do you talk to Tatum about?
Oh, so he pulls Tatum aside as he's, walking up the hill. And he said, hey, Tatum, it's a good thing you had me sign that waiver, because what I'm about to do, you're not going to be so happy to see. And she's like, what? What's going on here? Do I stop this now or do I let this progress? And he sent it, like full send it. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
But and then he did it again and again and again, started adding tricks to it. And it's like, just stop. You're making me look real bad, like real bad.
Something else we did this time, which was kind of fun to do, which we didn't do last time. You brought your PA system out.
Oh yeah. Well, that
Um,
was a fresh find for this event.
P&W ramps showed up in style with tons of ramps, and so we did a little high jump contest with the P&W ramps, and I
Mhm.
think that just it mixed it up a little bit. You saw the crowd get excited about it. Everybody was cheering everybody on.
It was cool. And it was, I mean, like the variety of the riders that were doing really well in that high jump was pretty like surprising is not the right word, but I was just excited to see how varied riders were just really showing up. We had a ringer already in play who had won a high jump contest with a broken wrist, and of course he showed us all how it was done, which is not to be spoken down on, because Kevin is an amazing high jump.
He did it with 2 arms this time instead of one.
Yeah, and he had tons of room to spare. He could have kept on going.
Yeah.
Um, but it was fun. The other thing that we did that was super cool was to do a trick contest. And you, Kevin, I mean, you were the architect of this and also the MC, and it turned out amazing.
The architect, I think, is maybe the wrong one, because Tatum and I were actually thinking the exact same thing. I came up to you like, that's what Tatum just talked about. Sweet, let's do it.
Is
So great minds always think alike.
That's right. Exactly.
Anyways, it was fun. So we did a 6.5 foot airbag. So the smaller airbag, we did trick contest, and we tried to call it the intermediate. There's a couple sandbaggers in there.
There were.
And then the big bag obviously was for the experts, is what we worded it as. People were just pushing to the limits. It was so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it was super fun. And we had a guest
judge.
Yes.
Yeah. You talk about that one.
Yeah. So Eric Duncan is a pro rider. He rides for Norco bikes, and he actually lives in Eastern Washington. And I've been talking with him for a long time. He's been looking at a lander for his property. And so I invited him to come to the event to come and play. And first of all, thanks for coming. It was fun to finally meet in person. And even though he and I have been, chatting forever on Instagram and, texts and other things, it was nice to put, a face with the name. And anyways, he's a very talented free ride biker. If you've ever watched any of the free ride fiestas that occurred this past spring down in Mexico, he was one of the riders that was invited to do that event. And so he's very talented. Like he's a very good rider. He's just coming off of an injury right now, and this was the first kind of event that he's been able to kind of enjoy doing. And to first see his smiles and to get his impressions on the airbags and kind of what his thoughts were, especially after riding a lot of other of the competitors' airbags, it was exciting for me to hear, his confidence in what product we have put together, but also to have him share his experiences with those, especially kids that were doing the jump contest, was super cool. He was getting stoked about it.
Yeah, thank you, Eric, because I didn't give you a choice. You are judge.
Yes.
It worked out great. So guest judge showed up, and that way there was no bias, right? So he got to pick the winners and have fun with it, and he was great. He was awesome with the kids. He was coaching the kids on how to jump, where to compress, where to straighten your arm, like all the basics from the kids all the way up to Crash Daddy.
Oh yeah, Crash Daddy. We better explain Crash Daddy.
Yeah. So he worked with Crash Daddy a lot, and Adrian did Crash. That's Adrian, but right. You just saw how much more comfortable he was floating in the air.
Yeah. Well, we better kind of preface who Crash Daddy is. Crash Daddy is a adult dad rider, a grandpa rider.
Gramps.
Do you think that he's going to be offended that we called him a grandpa rider? I don't know. He doesn't get offended by much.
Maybe just an old grandpa rider.
Maybe. I don't know. But the first time that you and I both met him, we both didn't really know what to expect from Adrian. He's a guy that puts it all out there. Like, who he is. He's going to tell you exactly what his opinions are, but he is also someone that rides hard, rides fast, and he expects to crash every single run. Like, that's just his expectation.
Huge heart too. Like, all he does is care about the kids.
Right.
So he's just a great human being around, him and his entire family.
Yeah.
Which some of his family didn't make it out this time. So next time.
Right. We noticed, Aaron, we noticed that you weren't there. So come next time.
Yep. You said no to us twice.
He had other stuff going on, and that's totally understandable. But it's just, I don't know. It's amazing to see that wide variance, and to also see Adrian get some nice coaching from a professional rider. It's pretty cool.
And then so we did the trick contest, and those are tons of fun. I can't remember who won on the 6.5 foot bag.
I think that Sawyer did.
I thought Sawyer won the big bag.
Oh, he did.
Because of the back flip.
I don't remember.
Maybe he won the small one, and I don't know. But so we were giving away hats and P&W ramps, and it was just a really fun event. And so moving forward in the future, we definitely got to do more of that.
We do.
It wasn't
what about
really
the high jump?
Yeah, the high jump was tons of fun.
Did you hear all the moms through the high jump?
Or the
the high jump? The distance jump, not the high jump.
The distance jump. Yeah, I was on the mic on that, so I wasn't next to the crowd as much. I was in the middle. But towards the end, they're like, "How big are you gonna actually go?" As long as they feel comfortable, because there were some of them are still overshooting it.
Yeah.
Well, but the wind was picking up, so that's what we were paying attention the most, was the wind.
It was. In fact, I just ordered a wind, like what are those stupid, not wind vane, but the
Windsock.
windsock. Yeah. We're going
Nice.
legit. Like Loam Lander Land is not just like some silly little backyard, front yard project. Like we're going all out. Anyways, so as we were all standing there, the moms, who are, I mean, honestly, these moms have like stomachs of steel because they've seen their kids do a lot of crazy stuff. You could just see their eyes start getting bigger and bigger as the gap got wider and wider. And several times I thought that they were going to shut it down, like full on, hey, we're done, no more, that's it. And then, usually their kids would be the ones that would continue to send it, continue to push a little farther.
And then doing tricks over it too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think Kevin did like a 20-foot back flip.
yep,
Um,
yep.
I don't remember how big the gap got. It was like 25. I can't remember.
23 feet, something like that. It
Yeah.
was it was considerable.
And I think
And
it could have easily kept on going if the wind wasn't there. That's
yeah,
what I was worried about the most, was just that picking up.
right. I totally agree. They had plenty of speed and they could have gotten more. They could have just gone a little higher on the hill if they wanted to, but yeah, that didn't seem to be a problem. They kept on pushing it and sending it. And it
And we
was
don't just let anybody hit that, right? We're
no, no,
smart
no.
about like,
Right.
um, if the skill level is there, if it's not, then you shouldn't be hitting that.
Exactly. It wasn't,
There's
it
definitely
wasn't just
safety
all
involved.
willy-nilly. Like, and maybe my conversation of the mom's view is somewhat, not as real as it could or should have been. But yeah, it definitely was riders that had the talent and the skills to be able to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
One of those was our longest venturing rider, and Scott Smith.
Oh yes, Austin, Texas, or yeah,
Yeah. So we met Scott at Bentonville,
yeah, the rail yard.
the rail yard. And it's all because our boys were like, hey, that's Scott Smith. And I don't know about you, Kevin, but I was like, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Agreed. I'm not a diehard YouTuber. Just give me a heads
Right.
up on that.
Well, I love my YouTube, but I'm not as diehard as our boys are, especially for Seth Bike Hacks and Berm, something I can't remember what his new channel is, but all of us know who Seth Bike Hacks is. If you're not if you're new to mountain biking, he has great content in how to be a better mountain biker, but he just continues to have good content mountain biking related. And
Definitely.
and so I was educated that Scott is a very close friend of Seth, and that he had been on several of Seth's YouTube videos, and that's kind of how our kids recognized who Scott was. And anyway, while we're in Bentonville, we had a chance to get to know him a little bit better, and Jake and Bobby really have gotten to know him quite a bit better, and said, "Hey, we're having this event. You should come out." And I think probably it was a little bit tongue in cheek, don't you think, at the beginning?
I don't know the full story on that end of it. Um, I just know that he traveled far for us, which
He
was
did.
awesome.
He did. He came all the way up. I mean, and not tongue in cheek, meaning that that they just kind of floated out there thinking that he wouldn't come. But it's a long ways, and honestly, there's like we're glad he came, like really glad he came, but we weren't expecting him to come.
Yeah, and then he just like, actually, I have time off. Well, actually, I'm already planning to go somewhere. I'll go there. Let's go there. It was
Yeah,
just kind of spur of the moment. It worked out good. So he traveled far, which was awesome. So we appreciate that. So we'll have to travel far to him and ride in Texas and do a video down there.
that'd be fun. Yeah,
With Spider Mountain, I think it's called down there.
I think so. It's the only lift access park in Texas. So lift access sounds amazing.
More elevation than Bentonville.
I don't know. I mean, if you can get more than 5 feet elevation, I mean, what? Oh, sorry. Did I say that? Sorry, Bentonville. Didn't mean
We
it.
love you, Bentonville.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll see you soon.
That's right. So it was just cool, and I think he had a great time. He seemed to have had a really really good time.
Definitely.
But the event just kept on building, kept on going, and really just met all of my thoughts, wants, and desires out of it. I don't know what anything we're missing out of this event.
No, I just liked how relaxed it was.
Yeah.
Like we talked quickly about earlier, it's just like showing up the night before, getting everything set up. Having ramps set up, having where we were going to put the airbags. Food was awesome. That worked out great. Thank you, Tatum and everybody else who helped in that end.
Yeah.
Um, it was just, I don't know, I really enjoyed it as a more fun, right? It was just so relaxing that it added
Hmm.
enjoyment. Probably about the same number of people roughly. It's just a fun, different crowd. Looking forward to the next one, which probably won't be till spring, just because of weather here in the PNW. Can't
Right.
guarantee anything.
Right.
Even in spring you can't. Um, but we have some big things happening because of our last couple events and because of other conversations we've had, and really looking forward to those all fully coming around.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and they're
yeah,
really, really big things. Like, let's not sugarcoat like how big of things they are. Like, they will make everyone excited.
yes, massive.
Um, and so I mean, we've been busy over the past several weeks. You especially, Kevin, have been extremely busy.
We're all busy in our own ways. We're doing all different things.
Oh man, it's been wild. Like, I hate to be the tease, but things aren't fully done yet, so you can't start making announcements as of now. But there's some rad stuff happening,
Yes, with everything. I don't
and
even know where
it's
to. I
it's
can't. I
not
don't have
even
anything to tease because I might give it up. So I'm not gonna say
no,
anything.
but it's not even just one part. Like, Loam Lander as a brand is rapidly progressing. Um, and it's jump on the Loam Lander train because it's going somewhere.
Yeah, agreed.
It's
You know,
it's rad.
we'll talk about it a little later with the director of Stoke, but just walking around or sorry, not Bentonville, walking around Sea Otter, it just they'd see our logo on our hat or see us on the mountain when we're about to drop in racing and stuff like that. And there's like, oh, wait, you're Loam Lander. I've seen that brand. I've seen your videos. It was just like, yes.
It's
So
awesome.
I'll leave it there because that should be another conversation because director of Stoke was there, but it was just such good vibes.
Right, right. And I think that is a very good way for us to probably end this particular podcast in saying that while we've teased lots of things in the past, the tease of this is worth waiting for.
Definitely.
Um, well, Kevin, I think this was super fun. This was a fun podcast. I'm glad that we were able to get together finally to get this recorded and get this put out. We like I said at the very beginning of it, we had a couple weeks where we were both just crazy busy. We usually record these on a Sunday morning, and they've been kind of full of other things, from traveling to just other stuff that we haven't been able to get together like we usually have. Um, but we'll get back on that road and keep on pushing forward. And yeah, with that, I think from Loam Lander side, we're out.
We're out. Have a great day, guys.